Why? The platform where we speak truth to power. What I want to do now is to really go and look at our Femi Adeshina, the the presidential spokesman for the audio one. Many people they know him as Femi Adeshina, and it is hard to argue against that tag when they're making statements like they're about to make right now. Listen to what he's about to tell us now about the state of affairs when we're talking to him about something that's serious, and just look at his listen to his nonchalant response. Listen. 1 second, please. 1 minute. Make sure I got that central. Yeah. Do you like the flag behind, by the way? Yeah.
So, what is the way forward for Nigeria? Before we get some other opinions on the state of affairs in the country as we have it present, because tonight we have some very influential persons in the country who are going to be sharing their views on the state of affairs. Let's first get to hear the president's views on these very worrying situation that we have found ourselves as a people. I'm being joined tonight, first and foremost, by the president's spokesperson, Mr. Femi Adeshina. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeshina, for your time tonight. We hear some of the efforts of this government in arresting what has become a disastrous trend of progression of unemployment and inflation. How does the presidency explain this, especially when critics say this government lacks capacity to handle the economy?
Listen.
Thank you. Good evening. I think in any nation at any given time, it is not enough to just focus on the negatives. In any country in the world, if you want to focus on the negatives, there will be more than enough for you to see and to talk about. But then there are always silver linings in the sky from time to time. It's typical of Nigeria that when those silver linings come, we don't talk about them. You talked about inflation at 17-point-something%. When that inflation dropped to about 11% a couple of years back, we didn't hear a sound. We didn't hear a sound about it. When we went into recession the first time and we came out, we went the second time, COVID-induced, and we came out, not much about it. When you hear that our budget performance was about 97%, not much about it. All that we hear most times from critics, from the section of the media, are just the negatives. The truth is that in any country in the world, if you want to focus on the negatives, you will have more than enough to chew. So let's realize that in Nigeria, there are positives. In economy, in security, in all spheres of life, there are positives. It depends on the one we want to focus on. If we want to focus on the negative, we will have enough to focus on. But if we also want to see the silver lining and encourage ourselves and encourage our countrymen, there are also things to focus on. The choice is ours.
Did you hear what he just said? There are positives. In the economy, security, the real deal. Let's listen again. And every time I'm going to be laughing. Every time. Listen now. I'm going to just play this back. Watch.
The section of the media are just the negatives. The truth is that in any country in the world, if you want to focus on the negatives, you will have more than enough to chew. So let's realize that in Nigeria, there are positives. In economy, in security, in all spheres of life, there are positives. It depends on the one we want to focus on. If we want to focus on the negative, we will have enough to focus on. But if we also want to see the silver lining and encourage ourselves and encourage our countrymen, there are also things to focus on. The choice is ours.
So tonight, let's...
So there are positives to focus on in Nigeria. Please tell us, educate us, Femi Adeshina. Educate us. Educate us. Let us see the positives. Is it security? No, I don't think so. Is it light 24/7? No. Is it water in the country? No. Is it schools in the country? No. Is it children going to schools? Have they gone up in number? No. Is it employment? No. Is it roads? No. Is it the price of oil? No. Is it safety and security? No. The answer is none of the above. There is nothing to be happy about with contraption Nigeria. All of this play with words, people are wising up to it. Carry on with your your wily ways with words. Words are not going to put people's lives at ease. They're not going to put their fears at ease. Action. And that is why we are going for Yoruba Nation. That is why we are telling people to wake up. The federal government of Nigeria is a Fulani government. They are only interested in the government for the Fulani, by the Fulani, for the Fulani. You understand me? Government of the Fulani, for the Fulani, by the Fulani. Everybody else, we are second-class citizens, including yourself. You may choose not to realize that, but those are the facts. Another thing I wanted to bring to your attention, not bring it to your attention, I will talk about it. You see, there's a line here that says, Buhari, I'll make naira equal to dollar. Now there was you were making a claim that he never said that, and I'm gonna let's listen on to see if they'll bring it on. And I've got the quote on there. You can see it's at the top of my head. I will talk about that. We are going to break down point by point all of the lies of this APC government, and in fact the entire governance. We're not interested. It's APC, PDP. We don't care. All we want is Yoruba Nation. We are going for Yoruba Nation. We're getting Biafra Nation. We want Middle Belt to come, and we want the Hausas to go and take back their land from the Fulanis. The Hausas must take back their land from the Fulanis because they've been enslaved in their own land. And enough of this nonsense. Now let's listen on to Femi and his nonsense as usual with his spewing of lies. Listen on.
Let's focus on the two things that you have talked about. You talked about the issue of inflation. Let me remind you, Mr. Adeshina, of where the country was when the government of President Buhari took over. In 2016, the inflation rate was 15.68%. In 2017, it rose to 16.52%. It dropped in 2018 to 12.09%. 2019, 11.4%. So if it is at 17% now, are you saying Nigerians shouldn't be worried about how this will affect the food on their table and their livelihood?
You just misquoted me there now. I didn't say Nigerians shouldn't be worried. What I said was that when we came to that 11.4%, there were no plaudits. You didn't make it a focus. But when we are in 17 point something, that is when it's now a focus. I'm saying that life is like being out on the sea. You take the rough and the smooth. Don't talk about only the rough, talk about both.
So where is the smooth? Okay, you want to talk about the smooth. Where is the smooth? Because all we can see is the rough, Femi Adeshina. All we can see is the rough. There is no smooth, nowhere. You can go, unless you want to believe in your own lies, we won't follow you and believe in your lies. You can continue to spew the lies. We see what is going on. Our people are leaving the country in droves, are being impoverished in our land, we're being killed, no safety, no security. So there are no positives, nothing. There is no smooths. So please, stop that nonsense. Listen on.
So you also talked about the situation of the economy and how we went into recession. The government of President Buhari, because we're talking about what you met and how you are handling it and how Nigerians have fared under the President Buhari administration and that of the APC, because we're now dwelling on the promises made and what has been delivered tonight.
Listen to that. Promises made and what has been delivered tonight. Listen, oh, promises made, oh. And I put it up there. Listen on.
So, Mr. Adeshina, for example, in 2015, Nigeria was not in recession. Nigeria went into recession less than 2 years of this government. And you are making a reference to the fact that we're not dwelling on it. Nigerians have been promised that their lives will be better. And that is what has gotten our attention. Tonight, let us look at one major factor. Can Nigerians, Mr. Adeshina, believe the Buhari government? For example, part of the campaign promises is that it would create 3 million jobs yearly.
Did you hear that? 3 million jobs yearly. Please, anybody, where are those 3 million jobs? You know, still saying a lie. Where are those 3 million jobs? They're nowhere. Nowhere. Listen on.
Later, we were told 100 million jobs in a decade.
100 million from 3 million jobs that they didn't fulfill. They now go for a big figure. 100 million jobs in a decade. Have they provided? Is there any track record for that? No. Listen on.
But the latest figures show that things have gone in the opposite direction. More and more Nigerians are unemployed.
So yeah, answer.
It takes us back to what I've just said. Yesterday or day before, I had a projection from the ITF saying that by 2030, ITF alone will take 7 million people out of poverty. And you have agencies of government like that all over that have given their targets of what.
They haven't, and they will never meet any of the target because you guys are looting the money. That's the point. You're very good at making all these statements, but you cannot fulfill any of them. And they will never be fulfilled because the agenda of the government is to turn that nation into a Sharia nation. And that is something that you're burying your head against instead of facing the facts. Femi Adeshina. Listen on.
What they will do within a certain period. Why does that not become a talking point? It never is a talking point in our country. Rather, it is a accumulation of problems over decades that we continue to focus on. Let us keep our eyes on the sparrow in this country and look at the positive things for a change.
What positives? Tell us. What positives? You said positives. Where are the positives? Oh yeah, tell us. Like I said, no light we not get. Road we not get. School we not get. Food we not get. Hospital we not get. Airport we not get. Safety, security we not get. Now waiting the government they do for the people. What is your government doing for the people? You got nowhere to hide. Listen on.
It will help us. It will help our psyche. And it will also accelerate.
They want us to believe their lies. People's eyes are waking up. Where people are waking up now, you can't put them back to sleep. People are waking up and they are asking questions. This is why we are going for the Dual Nation, Biafra Nation, Middle Belt, and nothing can stop it because Nigeria is a disaster. We never signed up to it. We, the people, never signed up to Nigeria. It was imposed by the Fulanis on the rest of us, and we want no part of it.
Rate whatever the government is doing. It's not one government that will do it. If the Buhari government says it will take 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years, that government would not be available for.
Yeah, we all know that. Don't try this. We see now you're trying to move the argument away from what we're talking about now. Don't go about 100 million in 10 years. Now, what is happening right now? How many jobs is there right now? How many jobs have you created millions of jobs for people in Nigeria right now in that contraption called Nigeria? The answer is no. It's a lie, big lie. It's a big no. You have not done it.
For the next 10 years, it has just about 2 years and 2 months to go. It shows you then that it's a progression.
You see, story. What they mean is another story.
In Nigeria. And the onus is on us. Media, civil society, critics, opposition party, to focus on things that can be done to achieve that goal, not what is not being done.
No. The job of the people is to hold the government to account. We've got to focus on what is not being done. And can you guys see? He's trying to tell us how to think about what they're doing that's hurting the people. He's trying to tell us to ignore what is not being done. And those are the things that is more. The government is doing, not doing, most of the job of the government is spending the time not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not providing roads, no hospitals, no bridges, no schools, no water, no light, no safety, no security, no sewage system, nothing. All they're doing is taking, and taking. And the resource allocation is on fairly distributed in favoring the North. The local government areas and everything is all lies, and we need to address this issue. So this man coming here talking this nonsense, don't believe a word from Femi Adeshina. Don't believe a word. It is all lies.
I agree with you, Mr. Adeshina, that sometimes in our lives you need to reflect on the good and sometimes on the ugly. So tonight, we remember some of the good things, and perhaps we have had this conversation about some of the good things. But when these figures that are troubling have come up, we'll be asked those who are in the leadership of this country and those who are worried about this, some of these figures are the average Nigerians on the street. Mr. Adeshina, tonight, unfortunately, we'll perhaps dwell on some of those things you may not like to talk about, but those are the promises and the burden on this government. Take a look at those figures on your screen, Mr. Adeshina. Unemployment rate is at 33%, which makes us stand out negatively as a country in the world. Unemployment count shows 23.2 million Nigerians are looking for jobs. They are capable of working, but they cannot get jobs. Poverty rate is 4.1%, showing that over 80 million Nigerians are poor. These are some of the statistics that are not there necessarily before this government came into power. And the question tonight, Mr. Adeshina, we want to know what the president is thinking or what he is doing urgently when some of these...
How can an audio president give you any answer? He doesn't know. Hadn't you know the famous quote? Hashtag President Buhari is never aware. Let's make it a hashtag. Let me just do this way. Let me put this way. In fact, I'm going to do it. Those of you, President Buhari is never aware. You can quote me on that one. He is never aware. Because Gabashe will say, we are not aware. Femi Adeshina will say, we are not aware. So, of course, the president is what? He is not aware. So, let me go hashtag. So, in fact, I'm going to do this one day. Audio. Let me just go. I'm just trying to do this. So, I'm just going to, 1 minute, please. He's never aware. So let me just do this now. I'm just trying to put a few things in. So let's do this now. Just trying to make sure I get the right thing. Sorry, 1 minute. I'm going to come back to it, but I just wanted to just check something. Because a lot of what has been said here is simply not the case, and we need to correct it. That impression that they're trying to give. Where is it now? Where is it? 1 second, please. Yeah, okay. So, anyway, you will see that coming up. I just wanted to just show you what I'm saying. Here we go. Listen now. So he was reading out a reel of really bad numbers there. And let me see if I can post it. So you can see. If you look on the screen, let me forward it again.
These are some of the statistics that are not there necessarily before this government came into power. And the question tonight, Mr. Adeshina, we want to know what the president is thinking or what he is doing urgently when some of these figures came up in changing the trend. The trend is troubling, and that's why we have you to talk to us about it tonight. Is the president worried as well about what worries us?
No, you didn't quite get it. You didn't quite get it because if you recall in 2015.
So which part didn't he get? Is it the number of... Let us go back again. He said he didn't get it. Let's just go here. Let us do this. Which part didn't he get? Is it 33.3% unemployment rate? Unemployment count 23.2 million in this current year? Is it the poverty rate of 40.1%? Poverty count of 82.9 million people? Total debt of 32.92 trillion? Of which many of the people in the NAS and Assembly and all these crooks in power are sitting on money. Overall inflation rate. Which part? Or you just choose to ignore it, Femi Adeshina? Listen on. Let's go on. Let's listen.
You didn't quite get it. Because if you recall, in 2015, build up to the 2015 election when APC was campaigning, the figure that was used by the then candidate Buhari was that minimum of 30 million Nigerians were out of jobs, were unemployed, particularly youths, and that his government was going to do something about it. That was in 2014, 2015. So don't make it appear as if it's something that a journey that just came out of the bottle. No, it had always been there. It has always been there. As at 2014, 2015, the figure used for campaign was 30 million unemployed Nigerians. It's on record. You can check it.
So let's.
The fact of the matter is that there are people unemployed that are still unemployed under this government, and they are not doing anything about it. So all of this is just trying to deny the reality that he's faced with. He can't face that reality that his government has failed. The entire governance has failed the citizens, and those are the facts.
Dwell on what you promised. You promised 3 million jobs yearly since 2015, or let's even take from 2019. How many jobs have this government added, Mr. Adeshina?
I wouldn't have that at my fingertips.
You won't have that at your fingertip, but you're a special advisor. Oh dear. Oh dear, let us hear that bit again. He won't have it at his fingertip, but he's ready to defend the government. So what stats are you going? If you don't have such an important document figure to defend the record of the government, then what are you doing being the special advisor? You and Garba Shehu and Lailai Mohammed, you're all the same. Bunch of crooks. That's what you all are. Listen to his answer.
From 2019, how many jobs have this government added, Mr. Adeshina?
I wouldn't have that at my fingertips, but there is a Ministry of Labor and Employment. If you would just take the... No,
that's not good enough. It is your government. This is information that you should be pouring over to come out and say, look at this is what we've done. But because you know that you failed to provide that, you're now making an excuse. This is an excuse of a government, and this is why we are justified in going. All of you, please, one Nigeria, I'm asking you. Here is clear evidence why you need to go for Yoruba Nation and Biafra Nation. And these people, they don't have your interest at heart. They are only there to lie to you and keep looting from us. We've had enough. We must go our own separate way. Yoruba Nation now, Biafra Nation now, Yoruba Nation now. And if the Arewa houses can take their own land from the Fulanis and send the Fulanis back in, good. But we in the South, we need to protect ourselves. Listen on.
Effort and ask the Ministry of Labor and Employment to supply jobs that have been generated over a certain period, particularly since 2 years when President promised that 100 million will be taken out of poverty.
Another lie. The 100 million, you've not even rode into it. You see, you're just talking. They ask you for figures, you couldn't provide it, and now you have mouth. I beg, shut up.
In 10 years. You can now ask, by June 12 this year, it will be exactly 2 years that promise was made. It's the duty of the media to find out what...
No, it is your duty to provide those records. It is your duty to provide those information. You are the special advisor. It is your duty, not anybody. This is what... And you want to believe in one Nigeria? Are you listening to the one Nigeria man, the special advisor to the audio one? Are you listening?
Has been achieved in 2 years, and from the achievement in 2 years you can then project that in 10 years this will either be achievable or not. We can't just see.
You have not achieved anything. The money has gone out and not come in. There's no jobs. You guys have this government is all about looting from the people and oppressing them. These are the facts.
And conjure figures. We have to work on facts and figures.
Then you provide the facts and figures. As a special advisor to the president of the audio president, you should have those figures. It falls on your shoulders. You're quick to come and tell us you're a special advisor. And now when the responsibility comes, you try and run away from it. This is why we need to go for Yoruba Nation and Biafra Nation and Middle Belt.
Available to the right ministries and agencies.
And it is your job as a special advisor to cover all of those things. You should be the ones getting the information, providing it to the president, and then you should be able to tell us, because that's your role.
One of those ministries is labor and employment. As a media house, channels can find out.
You should tell us. You are in government. Stop playing cat and mouse with this nonsense. We're not interested.
Mr. Adeshina, we have found out and we put some figures together tonight, and those are the figures we're pushing to you tonight. But if you do not agree with those figures, these are some of the figures of the government itself. Agencies of government have put out these figures.
There
but
you go.
This is another figure, Mr. Adeshina.
This is government figures. Oh, these are the same. The government of Femi Adeshina. These are your government figures. Argue with yourself. You don't have those figures, obviously. And the channels, I don't support them. They provided it, and you're not doing your job. You're not. And this is justification why we're going for Yoruba Nation and Biafra Nation and Middle Belt.
I would like to put it to you tonight. At the presidential rally, the candidate Buhari at the time promised that he would ensure that the naira was equal to the dollar in value if he was voted into office. At the time, he said the official value of naira is almost that it was going to reduce the value of the naira to the dollar. But now we've had almost a double of that from 2015 to now. The question is, what is the president doing in keeping to that promise also? That is another fact, isn't it, Mr. Adeshina?
Now, let us hear what Adeshina is going to tell us on this one. Let us hear. Let us hear. He's been told now, and I'm putting it on the screen. There's a reason why I put that up there, because I wanted, this was the point I was waiting for, and it has come. Listen, in 2015, it says here, in the elections, I'll make naira equal to dollar, says Buhari. That's what it says. Muhammadu Buhari, the presidential now reports that Buhari said on Monday during the Southeast presidential rally of the party that at Dan Ayam Stadium, Owerri. It is sad that the value of naira has dropped to more than 230 to $1. This does not speak well for the nation's economy, he said. He urged the people to vote for APC and that he would, and noting that he would ensure that the corruption was tackled and if elected. Earlier, let me see. I'm trying to bring where he said that now. I'm just trying to bring it out because he said. I'm trying to get this out to you so you have this information, because it said that there. It said, you know, yeah, there you go. So, March 23rd, 2015. March 23rd, that date, March 23rd, 2015. This is what Buhari said. And you can see it on the screen above my head. He said, Muhammadu Buhari, presidential candidate of All Progressives Congress, APC, has promised to ensure that the naira will be equal to the dollar in value if voted into office. Now you can hear that. I freeze-framed this video to put that as the evidence. This was before the event. This is what is promised. Now let us hear what Femi Adeshina is going to tell us. Let us hear. Let us go there.
But what he just said, Sheum, does not exist. It is fake, it is false, it is apocryphal. It doesn't exist.
Okay, he said what we said doesn't exist. It is fake, it is false, it's apocryphal. And I am going to show you again. Let me highlight it. There is no credibility left for Femi Adeshina. Zero. There is no credibility for him, for Gabashew, for Lai Mohammed. They have no credibility left, because this is the cable. March 23rd, 2015. Muhammadu Buhari, presidential candidate for the All Progressives Congress, has promised to ensure that the naira would be equal to the dollar in value if voted into office. And here we have a sitting special advisor appointed by this same Buhari telling us that we are lying, that is not true, it's false. So when they passed this false news bill, or whatever the bill they're trying to pass, who does it affect? Who does it really impact? The people in government are lying to us. You have the evidence. Here's one more key evidence why we should break apart from that contraption called Nigeria. There is no more one Nigeria. This lie, barefaced lie, he's been told to say what to say, how to say it, and to ignore the facts. We can't do that anymore. That's why we're going for Yoruba Nation, Biafra Nation, and Middle Belt. Watch out. Listen now. Let's hear more of his lies. In fact, I'm going to go back a little bit. Here we go. Listen.
Question is, what is the president doing in keeping to that promise also? That is another fact, isn't it, Mr. Adeshina?
But what you just said, Sheung, does not exist. It is fake, it is false, it is apocryphal. It doesn't exist.
Now,
and
let me go back again. Listen,
that it was going to reduce the value of the naira to the dollar. But now we've had almost a double of that from 2000.
Please, as he's saying that, look above my head and see the highlight, the blue highlighted section. That challenges and exposes the lie of this fraudulent governance. Because there, Buhari in 2015 promised to make the naira equal to the dollar. March 23rd, 2015. A little over 6 years now. Can you see the lie? Do you still believe in one Nigeria? Do you still believe in one Nigeria on this evidence? Will you? For how long are you going to continue to believe in that? It's going to kill us all if we do not break it away. Yoruba Nation now. Biafra Nation now. Middle Belt Nation now. Now let's listen. Please keep the blue. Look at the highlights.
15 to now. The question is, what is the president doing in keeping to that promise also? That is another fact, isn't it, Mr. Adeshina?
But what you just said, Sheung, does not exist. It is fake.
Can you see?
It is false. It is apocryphal. It doesn't exist. And the Minister of Information, Alhaji Mohammed, has debunked that before. It doesn't exist. It was
debunked what? It exists. This is the fact. And you cannot handle the fact. And you're trying to tell us that we're telling you lies. This is a governance that is not fit to serve the people. This is why they're not going to let go. This is why we're going for Yoruba Nation, Biafra Nation, and Middle Belt Nations. It's a lie. He's not prepared to admit to that the government lied.
Never said. If it's said, there should be clips. There should be publications. It was never said.
I have just given you publication, Femi Adeshina. And here's the evidence. You can see the evidence there. You can see the evidence. It's in March 23rd, the cable. It's on there. It's not something you can dispute. These are facts. Enough of the lies of this contraption called Nigeria. Yoruba Nation now, Biafra Nation now, Middle Belt Nation now.
It was a conjuration by some people. And will it then become an albatross round the government's neck? That was never said. It was never promised. I challenge you to make the clip available where that promise was made.
All right. The president was reported to have said that at the Dan Ayam Stadium, Luweri in Imo State.
Thank you.
If you don't agree with that figure, let's move forward, Mr. Adeshina.
You see, that's what I just read. I hadn't listened to what he said before, but that is confirmed. I'm confirming that. You see, he said that at the Dan Ayam. Let me just see this here. That's the same thing I read before, and I'm going to read it to you. Let me just read that bit to you. Yeah. Nance reports that Buhari said this on Monday during the Southeast presidential rally of the party at Dan Ayam Stadium in Owerri. That's the evidence, and it's in cable, March 23rd. It's highlighted. So what is this Femi Adeshina saying? He's lying to our face and expects us to believe the lies. One Nigeria is a lie. One Nigeria is a lie. Listen on. You see, he went off the screen, maybe to try and hide his shame. He couldn't stomach the lies that's been exposed. Listen.
And I'd like to ask you tonight, the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar's statement depicted a tone of a government under President Buhari that does not listen to the counsel of others. And he says that patriots like him have advised the government in this regard, especially relating to the latest figures on unemployment. And he feels that part of the problem we're having is that maybe the government is not listening. Why are...
It's not only they're not listening, the government is never aware of the mess they are causing the people that they promised to serve. The government is never aware of the mess they are causing and creating for the people they promised and swore on oath on that fraudulent constitution to serve. They don't care. They don't care. They simply don't care. Listen on.
We found ourselves where we are today, Mr. Adeshina.
Thank you. The former vice president was in power for 8 years. Now he is in opposition to government. You can't take whatever he says as the gospel.
Okay, so it's you that we have to take what you say as gospel, particularly when we've exposed the lie. We've exposed the fact that you are lying. You lied on camera, live. The evidence is there. It's above my head. That is why I put it there. It's above my head. It's above my head. We cannot trust anybody in the governance, any governance in that contraption. We need to go for Yoruba Nation, Biafra Nation, and Middle Belt Nation. This is sickening, and you've been told. No doubt you've been told what to say. You know, you're just a ball boy. You're just a person that they've given you orders. Stick to whatever the script. They've given you a script, and they've told you under no circumstances must you go away. That's why we can't trust any. Your credibility is in tatters. In tatters. Listen on.
It can be. The question is, when former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was in government with President Olusegun Obasanjo, where did they take the country to? Where did they leave the?
The question is, where have you taken the country to? Insecurity everywhere, people dying every day, no hospital, no roads, no schools, no bridges, no facilities, no 24/7 electricity, nothing. Fulani is being given guns, Fulani terrorists being given guns to kill Southerners all over the forest of the South. Nobody's saying anything. Enough of this nonsense. We are going for Yoruba Nation now, Biafra Nation now, Middle Belt Nation now. Enough of this nonsense.
Country. There are clips I've seen myself on social media where he was saying some things they promised to.
You see, all of this now is trying to deflect from the reality. Buhari promised. Muhammadu Buhari, presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has promised to ensure that the naira will be equal to the dollar in value if voted into office. This was made by the then real Buhari, not as compared as against the audio one that we have now. The audio one either is mentally not able or something, whatever. It should not. The person in there now is not fit to be in office, and even the first one wasn't. But this now is even more glaring. Now let's listen. So now it says, now reports that the Buhari said that this on Monday during the Southeast presidential rally of the party at Dan Ayam Stadium, Owerri. You see. So I'm going to leave that there. I'll leave it there. And I want you to leave your comments on this. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you believe Femi Adeshina has any credibility left? Yes or no? That's the question. Let me just write that down so I don't forget it. Do you believe that Femi Adeshina has any credibility left? Yes or no? Let us ask that question. Let me just put it down so I don't forget. Do you believe? Yeah. So. Has any credibility left? Yes or no? So we'll let you guys decide on that one. I don't think I even want to. Let's listen for a little bit more because there's nothing else he's saying that it's all lies.
Particularly on power. You see? So people collected so trillion.
You see, I'm not interested in what he has to say because the man is full of lies. There's whatever when he opens his mouth is lies, and it's a script. They've given him a script that's full of lies to say, and they've told him he must stick to it. His bosses, the masters, his Fulani masters have told him, stick to that script or else. Yes. The person who should be our president right now is the vice president, and they won't even let that happen because what? He's a Southerner. And as far as they're concerned, a Southerner is a conquered territory, as said by Ahmadu Bello. That's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. So what we are doing, so what we're going to do is to make sure yeah, okay. So like I said, so this man, you cannot trust him. You cannot trust him in any way, shape, or form. He's shown himself to be unreliable, and he's a Fulani, he's a humble slave. Humble slave, nothing more. He's been told the script. Oshibajo equally cannot say anything because he's a southerner, and as far as they're concerned, they want to make the nation into a Sharia law nation, the Fulanis, and this is why if they want to do that, let them keep that nonsense in the north. We're going for Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, and Middle Belt nation. You are not going to tell us in our own land to start practicing a religion that we don't want. You're not. You do not. You are guests in this place. You are guests on Yoruba land, and we have to remind you, and we send you packing. We have had enough of this injustice. Femi Adeshina cannot speak for us, so we can't trust him or any of them. This is sickening. We need to go for Yoruba nation now. We need to. Then this is a pure lie. When somebody can look at you in the eye and lie to you on live on camera, what credibility have they got left? What credibility? None. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you for watching this broadcast. Keep reminding yourself, every time you hear him open his mouth, talk, just look at the blue screen I highlighted. And I'm going to read it out to you. Muhammadu Buhari, presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has promised to ensure that the naira would be equal to the dollar in value if voted into office. This was said back in March 23rd, 2015. That's all you need to know that this governance, they are a pack of lies. They are full of lies. They are a pack of lies. And we are justified in going for Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, and Middle Belt nation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Citizen AY, the platform where we speak truth to power. Please share, and share this broadcast. I also urge you one more thing, please. Subscribe to Citizen AY now on YouTube. Go on to YouTube and click the red button now. Thank you for watching.